With some of the injuries you guys have had, does it help that you have worked some of those guys into a rotation to get in, the guys that you might have to use in case of injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously always good, when guys get playing time, get confidence on the field. You saw, Michael Azera come in with a really good game against Chivas, and after being on the bench for a while. So this weekend we have 2 games. We have our game with Colorado, and then we have a reserve game. So everybody should be able, that needs it, should be able to get a good 90 minutes in. And, that's important to keep everybody's confidence and fitness level up.
Are you seeing any patterns in the last couple of games when you guys concede goals?
Don't want to concede goals, so obviously that's something that now we have some time on the training ground. So it's something we worked on a little bit more informally yesterday. Today we worked on it a little more formally. We'll work a little bit more on it on Friday. But certainly, playoff games are tight. Referees tend to not call much, so it becomes a little more physical, and sometimes it becomes a little bit harder for us to get our combinations up front. So we got to make sure we do a good job of keeping the other team off the board as well. But I'm confident we can get that done.
Do you think it's specific incidences when you guys have given up goals, or do you think that other teams have kind of figured out maybe a weakness of you guys?
No, I don't. We've looked at all the goals. I've looked at all the goals that we've taken, and it's not like there's a pattern. It's not like, okay, it's happening all the time here, or this is a constant. We've taken goals in a lot of different ways, and sometimes it's just a little bit. We're a little bit too loose in the final third, and that's something that we're talking about and addressing, and just making sure that our team pressure is consistent. Sometimes we'll work on that a little bit Friday as well, but sometimes we get pressure to the ball, but we don't get pressure to the options that the ball carrier has, and so that's something that we'll continue to work on. And it's part of it comes because we're a very offensive team and we tend to go forward, and so sometimes we leave things a little bit open, or we put more energy into that area of the field, which is great because we score goals, but we got to find the right balance as well.
Was the move to put Brad on defense this last week to make up for not having Zach Scott, or is that something you're considering?
No, Brad was really because of Leo. Leo being out, so we felt Brad was our best option right now at left back. He's played a lot of right back before, and we felt he could ably come in and play left back.
With Parsaman and Lowe off the DL, is there any kind of role for them for the rest of the season?
With Kevin, it's still a situation of he's still working. With coming back from his ACL injury, so he's probably not game ready. He won't play in the reserve game. But with Lowe, the reserve game on Monday is going to be very important. We want to see how many minutes he can actually log and how he can play. He's a pretty aggressive defender, and he can be physical. So sometimes I know he has to temper his play a little bit in training with us, but that's something we want to see how he does now in the game. That ruggedness. And his quickness, and he's got good pace. He's definitely our fastest defender. So we want to see how all that correlates and ties together.
I see that Sporting Kansas City got their White House tour today. Did you get one or some of those? And do you have any particular White House memory?
Didn't get one when we were with LA. We did go with Columbus, after I left them. So yeah, I did meet them. So I got to meet President Obama, and shake his hand on that one. There's actually a funny video if you can ever find it, because Ezra was there and Ezra's trying to shake his hand and he keeps missing Ezra's hand, so he's like in one row and then he's going to another row. He's finally like at the third row. So if you can actually dig up the video of Obama coming back and shaking hands with the people, you'll see Ezra trying to get his hand in there. I thought it was sort of funny.
Did you ever get him?
Yeah, he got him. He got him eventually. Yeah. So, but it was a great experience, unique experience, and especially touring with Frankie Hayduk and Guillermo Chalotto. So it was interesting.
I think we'd like another visit.
I'd love another visit. So.
Tristan's kind of a guy that's been struggling for minutes lately and had a couple injuries. But what do you think that he's been able to bring for you guys, and what can he bring going forward?
Tristan is a player who's blessed with magnificent speed and some great ability to hit the ball from distance. I think what's hurt Tristan this year is just that little niggling injuries that he's picked up, being injured sometimes at the wrong times, right when he's ready to break through, and then he falls off the face a little bit because of the injuries and got to regain his fitness. So it's that consistency hasn't been there early in the season and preseason. He was definitely somebody who was like in that first 16, 18, and because of the injuries, he sort of fell out of that a little bit. Yeah.
What are your impressions been of Marco since he got back from playing with Guatemala?
You know, it's been all right. You know, it's a little bit of an adjustment because he's able to play a different role in the Guatemalan team. You know, in terms of the way they play and in terms of the defending that's asked of him. So you know, it's been a little bit of an adjustment. But you know, Marco's a player who helps us because he helps us keep possession and combine, and has that ability to score from distance and helps us on set pieces.
How important has the acquisition of Chad Marshall ended up being for you guys this year?
Chad's been an important piece of our puzzle. You know, I mean, he's a good, solid defender. You know, obviously his ability in the air speaks for itself, but he's also positionally very, very good. He's a very calming impact back there, and you know, he completes his passes. So you know, he's been a really good acquisition for our team.
Where do you think he kind of stands in the ranks of defenders in the league right now?
I think he's got to be a guy who's considered for Defender of the Year this year. I think he's got to be one of the candidates for that. I think he's been one of the top defenders in our league, and you know, he's played the whole season. He didn't miss for World Cup or anything like that. But I think his play, I definitely think, warrants that he's in consideration for that award.
Challenges at Colorado? Loses this weekend?
It's you know, it's a little bit similar to Chivas, but different. You know, I think Colorado, obviously, you know, they know their coach is going to be there next year, so again, they're playing for their coach. They've had some injuries. Sanchez is back out there now. For them, he's an important player to their team. You know, they're a good team. You know, I know they've gotten blown out in a couple of games, but those have also been like one was just a bad game in goal, and the other game it sort of collapsed on them. But when you watch in most of their games, they're in the game through 70, 75 minutes for sure, and often longer than that. So they're a very competitive team. You know, they've got, you know, O'Neal back in the back right now. I know they lost a lot of defenders there for a while, but O'Neal's back, and so you know, I think their depth is deeper than it was, you know, a month ago. Yeah.
Do the memories of last season in Colorado ever resurface? Is it something you guys talk about at all?
What happened last season? I can't remember.
That's a perfect answer. No.
Anything else, guys?
Thank you.